Hey guys, how's it going? This is going to be the last video in this decades video series that I've been working on. Um, we're going to cover, just like we've been doing, the top songs, top albums, top artists, top movies, top TV shows, top book, to give you a good idea of what was going on during this decade. And like I said before, this is my own personal opinion. The songs I'm listing are just the songs that I think are the best songs of this time period. Same with the movies and the TV shows. This is all just my own personal opinion. And you may not agree. You may have other TV shows or songs or artists that you like more, and that's perfectly fine. We all have different preferences. I hope, if nothing else, that I'll, you know, be able to introduce you to artists and songs and movies you may not know about, so you can check them out yourself and decide whether you like them or not by giving it a try. All right, so we're going to look first at the top 12 songs of the 2000s. These are going to be kind of in random order. Come As You Are by Crowder is the first one. This is a song we've done in Devotion before. Musically, it's a great song. I think lyrically, it's a wonderful song, and that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. It's got beautiful, beautiful lyrics. There's Joy for the Morning, O Sinner, Be Still. Earth has no sorrow that heaven can't heal. It's a beautiful song. Number 2, Viva La Vida by the Dallas String Quartet. Viva La Vida was released by Coldplay in 2009, or the rock song. The Dallas String Quartet, they're an interesting group. They do covers of pop songs, rock songs. Their motto is where Beethoven and Bach meet Bon Jovi is their motto. They're an interesting hybrid. Anyway, Dallas String Quartet did a cover version of Viva La Vida. It's a beautiful song. It's got a great melody, and to hear it performed by a string quartet, it's really cool. The next song, number 3, is Homegrown by Zac Brown Band. The Zac Brown Band became famous in 2008 with their debut album, The Foundation. In 2010, they won the Grammy Award for Best New Artist. They've had a lot of great songs over the years. Homegrown came out in 2015. Number 4, this is a song that you may not know about because it wasn't a big hit by this particular group. It's called I Can Hear Music by She and Him. Now, the original version, I Can Hear Music, was a well-known hit for the Beach Boys back in the 60s. She and Him is kind of an independent rock duo. I mean, you're not really going to hear them on the radio much because they don't really fit the mainstream radio format, but they do a lot of covers of classic songs. This was a song on that they released in 2010. And it's a beautiful version. I actually like it better than the Beach Boys version. Zooey Deschanel, who's the lead singer of She and Him, she has a really great voice, really smooth voice. Number 5, In My Life by The Seekers. The Seekers are an Australian folk group that we've talked about before. We talked about them in the 1960s week. In 2012, they released a greatest hits compilation to celebrate their 50th anniversary as a band. And they recorded a couple of new songs for the album. And one of them was In My Life, which is a cover of an old 1960s Beatles song. It's a really beautiful version. I highly recommend it. Number 6, Learning the Game by Natalie Merchant. This is an old Buddy Holly song that came out he recorded the song in 1958, maybe early 59. Buddy Holly's version was kind of peppy, kind of upbeat. It's been covered by a lot of artists over the years, and because the lyrics of the song are kind of sad and more reflective and mournful, usually cover versions depart a little bit from the peppy, upbeat sound of Buddy Holly's original and make it a little bit more of a mournful song. Waylon Jennings did a cover version back in the 90s for the album that I mentioned a couple weeks ago. And then this is Natalie Merchant's version for another Buddy Holly tribute album that came out in the early 2010s. Number 7, Me and Magdalena by the Monkees. In 2016, to celebrate their 50th anniversary as a band, the Monkees released their 12th studio album called Good Times. And Me and Magdalena was the best song, I think, from the album. The lead singer of the song was Mike Nesmith. and Mickey Dolenz does harmony with him on the song. This was the Monkees' first album after the 2012 death of Davy Jones, one of the original members of the band. Number 8, this is also a song by the Monkees from that same album, Good Times. This song's called She Makes Me Laugh, and the lead singer on this song is Mickey Dolenz. This song does a really good job of capturing the sound of 1960s rock music. It really sounds like a 60s song, even though it came out in 2016. Number 9, Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran. This song came out in 2015 and was one of the biggest hits of the year. Ed Sheeran is a British rock artist. He's got a great voice. He's a really talented guitar player. This is his best song, I think. Number 10, Today by Brad Paisley. This song came out in 2016, in the fall of 2016. And I think it's the best song of Brad Paisley's career. It's especially got a really great music video. The video is a montage of people kind of experiencing the best day of their life. And so it's very difficult to watch the video without getting a little teary-eyed, because there's so many beautiful scenes captured in the video. Number 11, True Love Ways. This is a song by My Morning Jacket. This was from a 2011 Buddy Holly tribute album called Rave On, Buddy Holly, that Paul McCartney was involved in producing. It's a really beautiful version of the song. And then number 12, We Belong Together by Randy Newman. This came out in 2010, and it was part of the Toy Story 3 soundtrack. It's the song you hear on the closing credits of Toy Story 3. Randy Newman had written the songs for the first 2 Toy Story films, and so he did the songs for number 3 as well. And then last year, of course, he did the songs for number 4. So Randy Newman is kind of associated with the Toy Story franchise. It's hard to think of Toy Story without thinking of Randy Newman's music. All right, going to look now at the top 10 albums of the 2010s. Number 1, Listen to Me, Buddy Holly, 2011. Now, I mentioned Rave On, Buddy Holly a minute ago. There were actually 2 tribute albums that came out that year. One was produced by Paul McCartney, and then the other was, that project was a separate project that Maria Elena Holly, Buddy Holly's widow, was involved in. So Rave On, Buddy Holly was Paul McCartney's project. Listen to Me, Buddy Holly was the other one. Of the 2, I think overall the better album was Listen to Me, Buddy Holly, although they were both worth checking out. Number 2, Live, the Beach Boys' 50th Anniversary Tour, 2013. So the Beach Boys toured in 2012 in honor of their 50th anniversary. They became a band in 1962. And the following spring, after they did this big 50th anniversary tour, they released a live album covering the highlights of their tour, and that's what this is. And if you listen to it, it's pretty amazing how well they captured the sound of their original music 50 years later. Their voices held up remarkably well. None of those guys are very young now, but they did a really good job of capturing the sound of their original music. Number 3, Zac Brown Band, Greatest Hits So Far. This came out in 2014, and this covered the hits from their first 3 albums, their 2008 album, 2010 album, and 2012 album. It's got a lot of great music on it. Number 4, The Monkees, Good Times, 2016. I mentioned that album a few minutes ago when I was talking about the top songs of the decade. There were a lot of great songs from this album, and I think it definitely deserves to be ranked as one of the top albums of the decade. Number 5, The Seekers, Farewell, 2019. So, The Seekers, I told you, released this Greatest Hits compilation album in 2012 to celebrate their 50th anniversary as a band. Well, they also went on tour that year to celebrate their 50th anniversary as a band. And last year, the album that was recorded covering their 50th anniversary tour, that was released. And it covers music from their whole career. And just like the Beach Boys impressively were able to sound the same 50 years later, their vocal quality was right up there at the top. Same was true of the Seekers. Judith Durham's voice has aged remarkably well over the years. Number 6, Bette Midler, It's the Girls, 2014. This was Bette Midler's tribute to 1960s era girl groups and Motown groups. She does a lot of covers of popular songs like Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, You Can't Hurry Love, One Fine Day, Baby It's You. So if you like 60s pop music and you like Bette Midler, this album's a perfect combination. Number 7, Jersey Boys, music from the motion picture. The movie Jersey Boys is based on the career of Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. So if you like Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons music, you would like the music from Jersey Boys, because the actors do a really great job of capturing the original sound of the original Four Seasons. Number 8, Chuck Berry, Chuck, 2017. This was Chuck Berry's first album in, I want to say 38 or 39 years. It was released the year that he died. And he actually didn't live to see it come out. He died right before the album came out. He was 90 when he recorded it. And one of the main songs that stands out to me from the album is a song called Lady Be Good, which is meant to be a sequel to his 1958 hit Johnny Be Good. And his guitar playing on Lady Be Good is right up there with Johnny Be Good. He didn't really lose any of his skill as a guitar player over the years. Number 9, Brian Wilson in the Key of Disney, 2011. Brian Wilson, you may know, is one of the founding members of the Beach Boys. And in 2011, he released this album of cover versions of well-known Disney songs. And they're really fun to listen to if you like Brian Wilson and you like Disney music. And then number 10, Les Miserables, music from the motion picture, 2012. In 2012, there was a major motion picture made of Les Miserables, starring Russell Crowe, Anne Hathaway, and a whole host of Hugh Jackman, a whole host of other actors. The music is really beautiful, and this soundtrack features the music from that particular movie version. All right, so let's look at the top artists / bands of the decade. I mentioned She and Him a while ago. This is a picture of She and Him. Let's see here. There we go. There's She and Him. That's Zooey Deschanel and Matthew Ward. Another top artist of this era was Dallas String Quartet that I mentioned a while ago, where Beethoven and Bach meet Bon Jovi. Michael Bublé was one of the top artists this decade. The Beach Boys. I think their stellar 50th anniversary tour and album definitely give them a place as one of the top bands of this decade. The Monkees, I think, deserve a place too with their really phenomenal 12th studio album commemorating their 50th anniversary as a band. Here's a picture of the Monkees in 2016. That is Mike Nesmith, Mickey Dolenz, and Peter Tork. This was their first tour after Davy Jones had passed away. Then the Piano Guys. I haven't mentioned them yet. They're a group that, similar to the Dallas String Quartet, they will take well-known pop songs and rearrange them kind of in classical New Age type arrangements. And then the Zac Brown Band, who I've mentioned earlier. This is a picture of the Zac Brown Band. There we go. All right, now we're going to look at some of the top movies of the 2010s. And the first movie we're going to look at is Tangled. It came out in 2010. Adjust this here. Sorry, guys. Okay. Yeah, we're going to look at Tangled. This is the picture of Tangled. It's a really funny movie. Tangled came out in 2010, like I said. It's loosely based on the old German fairy tale, Rapunzel. The film stars Mandy Moore and Zachary Levi and features the music of famed Disney composer Alan Menken. The theme song, I See the Light, was the winner of a Grammy Award in 2012 for the best song written for visual media. In 2012, a short theatrical sequel was released called Tangled Ever After, which features the wedding of Rapunzel and Eugene. All right, next on the list is Toy Story 3. This came out in 2010 as well. This film features the voices of Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. It won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. Jim Varney, also known as Ernest P. Worrell, who voiced Slinky Dog in the first two films, died in the year 2000, so the role of Slinky was passed down to Blake Clark. Toy Story 3 features the award-winning music of composer Randy Newman, who had previously written the soundtrack for the first two Toy Story films. The film's theme song, We Belong Together, won the Academy Award for Best Original Song. And here's a picture of the Toy Story 3 poster. Number 3 on the list, You Again. This came out in 2010. You Again, distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, features an all-star cast of renowned actresses including Jamie Lee Curtis, Kristen Bell, Sigourney Weaver, and Betty White. Cloris Leachman also has a brief cameo at the film's end, and Catherine Bach, Daisy from The Dukes of Hazzard, has a small role in the film, portraying a character named Daisy. Here's a picture of the movie poster for You Again. It's a really interesting movie. It's really funny. Alright, number 4 on the list is The Amazing Spider-Man. This came out in 2012. So in 2007, a fourth Spider-Man film starring Tobey Maguire was scrapped. Originally the plan was to do 4 films with Tobey Maguire. Sorry guys, hang on. But that was scrapped, and so a few years later, in its place, a decision was made to reboot the series, to start over. So The Amazing Spider-Man is the reboot, and it stars Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker, Emma Stone as his love interest, Gwen Stacy, and Sally Field as Aunt May. Andrew Garfield, it's impressive. He's a British actor, but you would never know he's British by watching the film. He does an American accent very impressively. The film's music was composed by legendary composer James Horner, whose other films include An American Tail, Land Before Time, Field of Dreams, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Legends of the Fall, Braveheart, Titanic, The Mask of Zorro, and A Beautiful Mind. So it's got an impressive soundtrack. This is a picture of hold on, a little bit closer shot, guys. Here we go. This is a picture of Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man soundtrack, or film poster. Sorry, guys. Number 5, Les Miserables. I mentioned that a while ago when I was talking about the top albums. This came out in 2012. It's based on the 1862 novel by Victor Hugo, the same author who wrote The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This musical film is arguably the most moving drama of the entire decade. It's a really great movie. The film stars an ensemble cast led by Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, Anne Hathaway, Amanda Seyfried, Helena Bonham Carter, and Sacha Baron Cohen. Les Miserables is a beautiful story that is worth watching over and over again. And here is a picture of the movie poster. All right. Next on the list is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and this is not a very well-known movie, but it's a good movie. It's based on James Thurber's 1939 short story of the same name. Stars Kristen Wiig, Shirley MacLaine, Patton Oswalt, and Ben Stiller. Kristen Wiig, you may know of her as Lucy on the Despicable Me films. She plays the character of Lucy. The film was a loose remake of the 1947 comedy The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, starring Danny Kaye. David Bowie's song Space Oddity is featured throughout the film, and kind of an important part of the film. Hang on just a minute. This is a picture of the film. It's a good movie. I wish it was better known. Next on the list, Risen, 2016. This depicts a fictional Roman centurion who is confronted with the resurrection of Christ and is forced to come to terms with the Son of God for himself. Starring Joseph Fiennes as Clavius and Cliff Curtis as Jesus, the film, which was filmed in Malta in Spain, received average reviews from critics. Fiennes' performance was praised by critics. The film grossed $46.1 million against a budget of $20 million, so it earned more than twice what it cost to make the movie. And here's a picture of the film poster. So the character, the actor who plays the Roman centurion, that same actor played in a movie called Luther in 2003. He played the reformer Martin Luther. He's a really good actor. Number 8 on the list, Batman and Robin. Batman: Return of the Caped Crusaders. This film perfectly captures the tone of the 1960s era Batman show, starring the voices of Adam West, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar. Batman: Return of the Caped Crusaders is a must-see for every fan who prefers a more lighthearted portrayal of Batman. Originally intended to be released directly on home media, the film premiered at the New York Comic Con on October 6, 2016, and a sequel, Batman vs. Two-Face, was released in 2017, shortly after Adam West's death. Here's a picture of the movie poster, and as you can see, it captures the look of the 1960s TV show very well. It's a really funny movie. Highly recommend it. Alright, next on the list, number 9, I'm Not Ashamed. Hold on, guys, just a minute. This film, starring Maisie McLean, tells the true story of Rachel Scott, who was killed at the Columbine High School shooting in April of 1999. Rachel was revered as a martyr in the days following her death, when it was revealed that shortly before shooting her, the gunman asked her if she believed in God. Sadie Robertson and Corey Robertson, both of Duck Dynasty, appear in the film. Christian singer Jackie Velasquez has a cameo in the film, portraying Rachel's teacher, Miss Diaz. So here's a picture of the movie poster. I thought this was a really well done film. In high school, when I was in 11th grade, I had a chance to go to a youth conference in Tennessee, and I actually met Rachel Scott's dad, and he signed my Bible. He was there speaking about his daughter and telling her story. And so it was really cool to see her story portrayed on film. If you want to know more about Rachel Scott, her parents, Daryl Scott, and her mother, Beth Nemo, wrote a book in the year 2000 called Rachel's Tears, which tells the story of Rachel Scott's life. All right, number 10, the Lego Batman movie, 2017. This is a spin-off of the 2014 Lego movie. The Lego Batman movie once again features Will Arnett as the Caped Crusader. The film, which also stars Rosario Dawson as Batgirl and Michael Cera as Robin, tells the story of Batman's friendship with Robin and Batgirl and their team effort to defeat Joker and the villains he unleashes from the Phantom Zone. The film makes reference to every Batman film made since the creation of the superhero in 1939. Here's a picture of the poster. It's a really funny movie. The tagline, I don't know if you can see it on the video, it says, "Always be yourself. Unless you can be Batman, then always be Batman." Which is really funny. I actually have a Lego Batman costume. When we went to see the Lego Movie 2, Lego Movie 2 with the Seachers last summer, I wore my Lego Batman costume to work. I wore it last Halloween with the kids. I really like Batman. Fun story. I didn't want to pay for an adult Batman costume, and thankfully I'm kind of short, and so I didn't have to pay for an adult costume. The costume I bought was designed for a 10-year-old, and it fits me perfectly. And it was much cheaper. So there are advantages to being short. All right, Kong Skull Island, number 11. This came out in 2017. Kong Skull Island is a follow-up to the 2014 film Godzilla. The film, which is set in 1973, tells the story of a lonely island inhabited by prehistoric monsters. The monster that keeps the other monsters in check is King Kong. The film, which stars John C. Reilly, John Goodman, and Samuel L. Jackson, was nominated for Best Visual Effects at the 90th Academy Awards. Here's the poster of the film. It's a really well-done movie. If you like monster movies, it's really, really well done. Number 12 on the list, Spider-Man Homecoming. So I mentioned a while ago, Amazing Spider-Man, starring Andrew Garfield. This is yet another reboot of Spider-Man. In this movie, Tom Holland, another British actor, plays the role of Peter Parker, and does another very good job of never giving it away that he's a British actor. So this movie, Spider-Man Homecoming, features Tom Holland as Peter Parker as the newest member of the Avengers. So they decided instead of doing an Amazing Spider-Man 3, they did Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 2014. And instead of doing Amazing Spider-Man 3, they decided to just rethink that and loop Spider-Man into the Avengers film series, which had started back in 2008 with Iron Man. The film also stars Robert Downey Jr. As Iron Man and Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton plays the villain. For her work in the film, Zendaya, who portrays MJ, received the Favorite Movie Actress award at the Kids' Choice Awards. A sequel, Spider-Man: Far From Home, was released in 2019. So here's the poster of Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's a really great movie. Highly recommended if you like Spider-Man. It's a great movie. All right, we're gonna look now at some of the top TV shows of this era. First one I'm going to show you guys is The Apostle of Common Sense. The Apostle of Common Sense is a show about G.K. Chesterton, and it aired from 2001 until 2014 on EWTN, the Global Catholic Network. There were a total of 7 seasons, and each week they explore a different area of G.K. Chesterton's writing and focuses on what he has to teach us in the modern world. His writings are really good. They're difficult to get through at times, so I think this show is a good introduction for people who haven't read his books but want to learn more about what G.K. Chesterton wrote. The next show, Foyle's War. This was a detective show filmed in England. It ran from 2004 until 2015. It's called Foyle's War because it's set in World War II, and it tells the story of Chief Inspector Christopher Foyle and his efforts to solve murder mysteries while England is embroiled in the war. The last season or two follows him in the post-war world solving murder mysteries. It stars Michael Kitchen as Foyle and Honeysuckle Weeks as Sam, his driver. And then next there's Agatha Christie's Poirot. This is another murder mystery show that ran actually from 1989 until 2013. So it ended in the early 2010s after a long 24-year run. When the show ended, they had portrayed every single Poirot story that Agatha Christie had ever written. Top book of the decade, Martin Luther by Eric Metaxas. This is a book that is a great biography of the reformer. Eric Metaxas has become quite well known for writing biographies. A few years ago, he wrote a biography of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. So this is a great book if you're wanting to know more about the life of Martin Luther. All right, guys, so that's a look at the 2010s. So that actually brings our decades videos to a close. I really hope you guys have enjoyed these. I've enjoyed sharing this information with you. And I look forward to seeing y'all in the near future. If you have any questions about anything we've talked about, if you want a copy of this packet, if you... sorry guys, hang on just a minute. If you have any questions at all, just let me know. And I'd love to get with you and get this copy to you. I have a lot of YouTube videos as well that go along with this material that I can send along if you're interested in seeing those. So, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day.